What's going on, folks? Ted from Immersion here, and as promised, I wanted to make a video talking about Vecna and what's going on with Vecna. We've seen a lot of push of media and other things related to Vecna from Wizards of the Coast, and I mean, this is purely going to be a speculation video, so I will say this up front. First of all, one, thank you for getting the number up to 94.5K, especially when I was taking that break dealing with COVID. I really appreciate you guys continuing to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, consider doing so. But there's no right or wrong answer to this video. I don't know. We're purely speculating here. But one thing I can tell you is that we are not talking about Vecna healthcare, which I found that when I was doing my research. I don't know if I would subscribe to Vecna healthcare, although they do have a robotics company. I don't know. Anything based on one of the most powerful liches, probably not someone you want to get your healthcare from. Anyway, so a lot of this started, some folks saw that this $260 statue was announced from WizKids, where you can see here it has like updated brand new art of Vecna, and we can see it in a couple of different poses here. We can see what I thought was interesting is that he very clearly has his regular hand here and is kind of, I guess this might be the hand of Vecna. It looks, if here's some close-ups here, it looks very much like almost like an infinity gauntlet. I think you can even see there are, looks like gems on all of the knuckles in the hand. I don't know if that's supposed to be the hand of Vecna. As far as I always knew, the hand of Vecna was like a decrepit lich hand, unless that's his replacement, like surrogate hand, perhaps. But it also looks like he has both of his eyes in all of the artwork that I've seen. I don't see anything showing different eyes. They both look to be kind of the same kind of pinkish color. This statue, as you can kind of see, here's a little bit of a closer look. There's a soda can as a reference. It's a 12-inch tall figure. One thing I did think was interesting, you might have missed it right here, which kind of you might have thought was chest armor. The Book of Vile Darkness is actually inside his rib cage, which you can kind of see right here. I thought that that was an interesting thing. Now, I don't recall, again, and my history on the Book of Vile Darkness is not the best as it could be, but our new resident statue, including the Book of Vile Darkness, perched within Vecna's ribcage. Seldom is the name of Vecna spoken except in a hushed voice. Vecna was, in his time, one of the mightiest of all wizards. Through dark magic and conquest, he was a terrible empire, blah, blah, blah. So this is coming out. It's a lot of detail for a 1 foot tall figure. This kind of goes on, and I'm kind of going to make I think a follow-up video just talking about WizKids, because there is a ton of stuff that I was unaware of that they're putting out. But I wonder what this is. So again, we saw this, but this also was accompanied by Wizards of the Coast on the 23rd, so only 3 days ago, making a video called Who is Vecna? A 8-minute video where Todd Kenrick is interviewing Chris Perkins, and I'm not gonna, I'll just like let it run here in the background, but they're just talking about the history of who is Vecna. Here's some of the new art that they're showing off as well. The art that was used to be the reference for the new miniature, or the new model figure that we just saw. Again, here's a close-up look at what that sort of infinity gauntlet looking glove that he's got. They also released a video here, the 24th of May, the next day, called The Head of Vecna, which is only, it's kind of like a short video where, basically, you know what, I won't spoil it. It's actually a pretty funny story. And then again, the only thing that I can think of is it was announced, and we saw sort of this art here, that Vecna is going to be the big bad from the new Stranger Things series, or the new season. Now, I'll be honest with you, I watched maybe the first season of Stranger Things, if that, and then I just didn't care to keep watching. So I'm not a good frame of reference for this. I honestly forgot that it was still happening, if I'm being completely honest with you. But it has a lot of, and the D&D stuff is obviously ramped up over the years. I think it resonated very well when it was kind of teased in the first season, so they've continued to reference D&D throughout. But now, I mean, we've heard of the Demogorgon, which we know that the Stranger Things Demogorgon is not our D&D Demogorgon. I've done a video on that way a long time ago. But yeah, apparently Vecna is the villain for Stranger Things. Was it season 4? And let's see, we have a little bit here about lore. Vecna's, or yeah, so it just Vecna in Stranger Things, right? So now it's likely some, if not all, of Vecna's backstory is going to be scrapped when it comes to his role in season 4. The Duffer Brothers seem to like tease, like to tease random monsters and storylines from the popular role-playing game without completely co-opting character and plot points. So while this version of Vecna borrows the name, he's not a carbon copy of the D&D villain. That being said, the show is really leaning into the horror element of the character as he operates in the shadow world, the Upside Down, blah, blah, blah. So all I can think is that this entire, I mean, I guess there's two theories or schools of thought. One, all of this Vecna push in the media, whether it be the videos from Wizards of the Coast, the new art that was designed to make this new figure for WizKids to release, is there purely to promote Stranger Things season 4 and the fact that Vecna is the villain? Or could this, and you know, I've seen both sides of this argument, could this mean that we're getting Vecna in some form in D&D 5e? Now, mind you, we don't know everything that's coming at the end of the year, right? We know Spelljammer is coming in August. We just talked about how Journey from the Radiant Citadel got delayed till July. And we know sometime later this year we're getting Dragonlance. We've routinely, over the past couple of years, gotten 2 to 3 books in the last quarter of the year. Realistically, that makes a lot of sense marketing-wise. If you can put out a lot of books right around the holiday season, that's a great thing for people to be like, oh, I'll get you that for Christmas. You know, it's a thing to do, or get for whatever the holiday you're celebrating. Last year we had, I think it was October, November, December, we had a book. And we would have had the box set for the Expanded Rules gift set in that, in 2021 as well, if, the shipping delays didn't push it into the new year. So could we be getting something Vecna related in the form of a source book or an adventure? It's possible. I don't know. The Book of Vile Darkness being embedded in Vecna's chest makes me hopeful, but I don't feel like we'd get a Book of Vile Darkness in D&D 5e. Maybe I'm totally off base. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see a Book of Vile Darkness physical book with all of the information in it. Same thing with the Book of Exalted Deeds, but for those of you who don't know, at least I have the 3.5 versions. They actually had a label, like on the front, like a parental advisory label. That's like some of the, some of the images in here may not be suitable for children or things of that nature because it's the Book of Vile Darkness. It's dirty and evil and all sorts of like the imageries and things in there were pretty nasty. So they put that sticker on there to say like, well, maybe don't get this for your teenager kind of a thing, I don't know. I'd love to see it. We've had those books both available as magic items in the Dungeon Master's Guide, but, they provided a lot of interesting new mechanics, both the Book of Vile Darkness and the Book of Exalted Deeds. In 3.5, they added a bunch of different options, different monsters. They added the concept of graft, right? Attaching parts of enemy creatures that you've slain to your body to augment it. I don't really think the taint system from Book of Vile Darkness has a presence really in 5e, but that was a thing. I don't know. It could just be they're just trying to hype up Stranger Things to talk about Vecna, but it seems weird to commission all of this new art to then use that art to make a mock-up of a sketch of a statue with very well-defined and written art just to promote Stranger Things. I feel like you're wasting all of that talent and that awesome art when you could possibly use it to make another book. Could we get another Vecna-based book? We had, Die Vecna Die and Vecna Lives and all these things from back in the day. Could we be getting a new book in that? There was a lot of love when I covered that one thing on the DMs Guild about where the Vecna wins, essentially. That one whole new source book where all of the bad stuff happens in the Forgotten Realms from all the pre-written campaigns. I thought that was really cool. Maybe we'll see something Vecna related. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is all just hype for Stranger Things? Or could we be getting something Vecna related in a future book, possibly as soon as later this year? Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.